Dozens of chases, 6 years. Ghost Rider escaped every single time. This is how he did it. In 2002, Swedish police communications ran on analog radio systems. No encryption, no digital scrambling, just open frequencies broadcasting every dispatch call, every unit position, every roadblock coordinate to anyone with the right equipment. Ghost Rider's crew had police scanners, simple handheld devices you could buy at any electronics store across Europe. Turn one on, dial to the correct frequency. Suddenly you're hearing everything. When dispatch sends units to investigate reports of a fast motorcycle, you hear it. When officers report their position on the highway, you know exactly where they are. When a helicopter gets deployed, the order goes out over the same open channel. This wasn't hacking. This wasn't illegal surveillance in most jurisdictions. It was just listening to publicly available transmissions. But the advantage it created was staggering. For 6 years, Swedish police hunted Ghost Rider across highways, city streets, and international borders. 6 DVDs, dozens of high-speed runs, multiple task forces deployed, yet not once caught during a violation. The question everyone asked wasn't just how he rode that fast, it was how he always seemed to know exactly where the police were before they knew where he was. Before Ghost Rider even started his engine, someone on his team could be monitoring police frequencies across the entire planned route. They'd know which highways had active patrols, which areas had units stationed, which exits were being watched. By the time cameras started rolling, the crew already knew where not to go. The Uppsala run proved how devastating this information could be. Stockholm to Uppsala, 42.6 miles. Ghost Rider covered it in 14 minutes and 55 seconds. Average speed of 170 miles per hour through heavy traffic. That wasn't just riding skill. That was an operation where scanner intelligence told the team which routes were clear and which ones had police presence before the bike even left the garage. During one documented chase in Stockholm, scanners picked up helicopter deployment orders. Ghost Rider immediately dove into side streets where aerial surveillance couldn't track him effectively. The helicopter arrived to find empty roads. He was already gone, tucked into an urban maze where rotor noise told him exactly where the chopper was circling. That's just one. Let's review other ways Ghost Rider always knew where the police were. Ghost Rider never rode alone. Every DVD shows evidence of a professional operation. Cameras mounted on the bike, external shots from roadside positions, footage captured from overpasses, and strategic points along routes. This required people, lots of them. Patrick Furstenhoff, widely identified as the man behind the helmet, was a member of the Swedish wheelie team. Professional riders, mechanics, stunt performers. When Ghost Rider planned a run, he had access to a network of people who understood motorcycles, traffic patterns, and most importantly, how to stay invisible while providing support. These weren't just cameramen, they were spotters. The team would deploy friends at predetermined points along planned routes, some in cars, some in vans, others positioned at intersections, highway exits, and potential escape points. They'd communicate via handheld radios on private frequencies, creating their own intelligence networks separate from the police scanners. If a spotter saw patrol cars setting up a checkpoint ahead, they'd radio the information immediately. If police started converging on an area, the team knew before Ghost Rider got there. This allowed real-time road adjustments mid-run. Take a different exit, change highways, abort if necessary. But the spotter system went deeper than just observation. In one documented multi-hour pursuit involving 20 police cars, Ghost Rider escaped using what sources describe as a quick extraction method. Spotters with trailers were positioned along potential routes. When the chase intensified, the bike got loaded onto a trailer. Within minutes, a legal vehicle was driving away at normal speed while police converged on an empty location searching for a motorcycle that was already hidden inside a trailer 3 miles away. This tactic appeared multiple times across different videos. Urban evasions after taunting police, escapes after high-speed runs. The pattern was consistent. Get the bike off the road fast, make it disappear before police could establish a perimeter. The spotter network made this possible because they were positioned in advance, waiting at locations Ghost Rider might need them. Swedish police knew who Ghost Rider likely was. Forum posts from the era confirm authorities suspected Furstenhoff. But suspicion isn't evidence, and without catching him during an active violation, they had nothing. Police once searched Furstenhoff's home. They found nothing incriminating. No bikes matching those in the videos, no equipment that could be directly tied to Ghost Rider's operations. This wasn't luck, it was operational security built on a simple principle. Never keep the evidence where police expect to find it. Ghost Rider operated from multiple hidden garages. Bikes were registered to the Swedish wheelie team as race vehicles, making them harder to seize without proof they'd been used illegally on public roads. Different locations for different runs, never the same pattern twice. This created a massive problem for police. Even if they suspected which bikes were being used, even if they had theories about storage locations, they couldn't predict where the next run would start or end. The bikes had no license plates during filming. The rider's identity was completely hidden. By the time police arrived at a reported location following a high-speed run, Ghost Rider was miles away, tucked into a different garage with the bike cooling down and the crew dispersing. The DVDs showed this clearly. Ghost Rider emerges from one garage, completes a run, then disappears into another location entirely. In one famous sequence, he painted a bike in full Swedish police colors, black and white official markings, then he rode it to police stations, parked outside, waved at officers, rode away. That stunt worked because the bike wasn't registered to him. It came from a different garage, and even if police wanted to seize it, they'd have to prove it was used in a specific violation. Without plates, without catching him in the act, they had nothing. The garage rotation also prevented patterns. If Ghost Rider always started runs from the same location, police could stake it out. Multiple storage points across Stockholm meant the operation stayed unpredictable. Sources mention team members maintained separate storage spots, rotating bikes between them to avoid creating trails authorities could follow. Another way is that Ghost Rider plans route-like military operations. The DVDs don't just show reckless speed, they show precision. Every gap threaded with surgical accuracy. Every lane change calculated 3 moves ahead. Every escape route mapped before sirens even started. That level of execution doesn't happen by accident. Ghost Rider rode routes in advance. During daylight hours on civilian bikes, he'd study traffic patterns, learn every curve, note camera locations, map blind spots and potential escape paths. Then he'd return at night for the actual high-speed run, executing a plan he'd already memorized. This preparation shows up repeatedly in the footage. In multiple videos, you can see Ghost Rider taking specific exits at precise moments, slowing just enough to thread between vehicles before accelerating again. These weren't reactions, these were pre-planned maneuvers practiced during scouting runs. The taunting tactics were also strategic. By provoking police into chases, Ghost Rider could predict their response patterns. Officers would pursue using standard protocols. Backup would be called following established procedures. All of it broadcast over those analog radio frequencies his crew was monitoring. He'd wheelie past cruisers at 100 miles per hour, drawing them into predictable chase behavior, then exploit gaps in their coordination. One famous incident at Vassberga involved a major traffic checkpoint on the E20/E4 highways. Ghost Rider provoked a motorcycle cop into pursuit, used scanners to hear backup calls being dispatched, then escaped before reinforcements could arrive. The cop tried to pull him off the bike during a wheelie approach. Ghost Rider accelerated past, vanished into traffic. By the time additional units reached the area, he was already gone. The entire sequence showed someone who understood not just how to ride fast, but how to manipulate police response into creating the exact conditions needed for escape. The early 2000s created a perfect storm for Ghost Rider's operation. Police scanners worked because encryption hadn't been widely deployed yet. Sweden's Rakel system, the encrypted Tetra network for emergency services, was being developed around 2005. Full implementation took years. During Ghost Rider's active period from 2002 to 2008, analog communications were standard across Swedish law enforcement. This meant his crew had access to information that would be completely unavailable today. They could hear unit positions, deployment orders, coordination between different departments, all in real time. But there were other gaps in police capabilities. Surveillance cameras existed but weren't networked the way they are now. GPS tracking technology was primitive. Drones didn't exist as law enforcement tools. Automated license plate readers were rare. Facial recognition was science fiction. Ghost Rider operated in the space between old enforcement methods and new technology. Police were trying to catch someone using tactics from the previous decade while he exploited every limitation in their systems. The scanner advantage alone changed everything. Modern police communications run on encrypted digital networks. You can't just buy a scanner and listen in anymore. The technology moves specifically to counter people doing exactly what Ghost Rider was doing. But in those years between 2002 and 2008, the gap existed, and Ghost Rider exploited it ruthlessly. By 2007, Ghost Rider announced his retirement. The timing wasn't coincidental. In a 2007 interview with Superbike magazine, Furstenhoff said he was done with dangerous riding. He had a son to think about, one last wheelie record attempt, then retirement. The official reason was family. The practical reason was that the window making his operation possible was closing. Swedish police forces were transitioning to encrypted digital communications. The Rakel network deployment meant scanners would soon be worthless. Once police switched to encrypted systems, you couldn't monitor frequencies you couldn't decrypt. The real-time intelligence advantage vanished. But there were other changes happening. Digital forensics were advancing. GPS tracking was becoming standard. Camera systems were being networked and upgraded. License plate reader technology was spreading. The tools available to prosecutors in 2008 didn't exist when Ghost Rider started in 2002. If he'd tried his operation even 5 years later, the outcome would have been completely different. The scanner wouldn't work, the garage rotation wouldn't matter against GPS tracking, the spotter network couldn't counter drones providing aerial surveillance, and video metadata would make anonymous distribution nearly impossible. Ghost Rider recognized this and stopped before technology caught up. That's not paranoia. That's understanding exactly what advantages you have and knowing when those advantages are about to disappear. Compare Ghost Rider's setup to what street racers face in 2025. The differences aren't just significant, they're absolute. Police communications are encrypted across Europe. Scanners are museum pieces. The one-way information flow Ghost Rider relied on doesn't exist anymore. Modern riders have apps like Waze that show police locations reported by other drivers. Sounds similar, right? The problem is those apps work both ways. When you use Waze, you're broadcasting your location via GPS. Your phone has metadata. It leaves digital breadcrumbs showing exactly where you were at specific times. Police can subpoena that data after the fact and build a case without ever stopping you during a violation. Ghost Rider's scanners were receive only. They got information but sent nothing back. His crew used handheld radios on private frequencies with no GPS tracking, no metadata, no digital trail connecting the rider to specific locations. Then there are drones. Law enforcement agencies across Europe now deploy UAVs with HD cameras, thermal imaging, and AI tracking. These systems launch automatically for pursuits. They provide overhead views without the limitations helicopters had in Ghost Rider's era. A drone can follow a motorcycle through urban areas, under overpasses, through traffic where patrol cars can't pursue effectively. Thermal imaging defeats attempts to hide in darkness, and the drone operator is sitting in a control room miles away, immune to the speed advantage that let Ghost Rider outrun ground units. Automated license plate readers are another game changer. Fixed cameras at strategic points photograph every passing vehicle. Cross-reference those images with databases, build patterns showing where specific bikes travel regularly. Even without plates, modern systems can identify vehicles by shape, color, and unique characteristics. Ghost Rider removed his plates before runs. That defeated manual identification. But modern systems would photograph the bike anyway, catalog it, and start building a profile. Combine that with traffic camera footage, and eventually you'd have enough data to identify storage locations, common routes, and the people involved. GPS tracking darts represent perhaps the biggest shift. Systems like Star Chase let patrol cars shoot miniature trackers onto fleeing vehicles. The device sticks. The chase ends. Police follow remotely at safe speeds while the tracker broadcasts location continuously. Ghost Rider relied on pure speed to create distance between himself and pursuing units. A tracking dart eliminates that advantage entirely. Doesn't matter how fast you go if they know exactly where you are at all times. Even the distribution method that protected Ghost Rider no longer works. He released physical DVDs through motorcycle shops, carefully edited to remove identifying information. By the time footage hit the market, weeks or months had passed. The statute of limitations on specific violations was already ticking down. Modern riders film on GoPros and phones. They upload directly to platforms with geolocation data embedded in files. Post clips while still near the scene. Every upload includes timestamps, device information, location markers. It's a prosecutor's dream. The coordination that made Ghost Rider's operation work now gets people caught. Telegram groups sharing police locations, Discord servers coordinating runs. These platforms feel private, but they're wide open to law enforcement monitoring. Ghost Rider's crew use spotters with private radios and scanner intelligence. Modern riders use crowdsourced apps and public forums. The information can be good, but it's also visible to the same authorities they're trying to evade. It wasn't the same for Ghost Rider. His DVDs still circulate. New viewers discover the Uppsala run every week. The wheelie past police cruisers still gets shared. But what they're watching is more than just high-speed footage. It's a document of a time that can't come back. The scanners are silent now. The analog frequencies are gone. The technology window that made his operation possible closed permanently. And somewhere in Sweden, Patrick Furstenhoff lives openly. Never charged, never convicted, his Guinness World Record still stands. He proved something that echoes today. Skill gets you attention, knowledge gets you away with it, but timing gets you the perfect exit. Drop your thoughts below, and if you want more videos about the line between legend and the law, make sure you're subscribed.